What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here, and a massive exclusive from Entertainment Weekly just come out. God of War star Christopher Judge to voice Black Panther in Marvel's Avengers Wakanda expansion. Now, a lot of people, when the first trailer for War for Wakanda first came out during these first ever Square Enix Presents, where they showed off the roadmap, a lot of people assumed it was going to be Christopher Judge, but also at the same time, a lot of people doubted themselves after they heard the next trailer we saw. But this is complete confirmation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through it all and give you my reactions as I read through it. The article will be down in the description down below for people who want to read it themselves. So the Kratos actor and the War for Wakanda team talk about crafting a different version of T'Challa than Chadwick Boseman's iconic performance. I mean, that was a very obvious conversation that was going to be had because of Chadwick Boseman, so that makes absolute sense in my eyes. The late Chadwick Boseman has come to define mainstream culture's understanding of Black Panther. One can't think of T'Challa these days without acknowledging how the actor's 2018 movie role defined the character for generations of Marvel fans. Stargate's Christopher Judge, the man forever linked to the God of War gaming franchise as the booming voice of Kratos, understands this well. It's also why he had reservations about taking on Black Panther when a new opportunity presented itself. Judge will voice King T'Challa in Marvel's Avengers video game from Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. Entertainment Weekly has learned exclusively he will make his debut in War for Wakanda, the upcoming DLC story expansion this August. Now, this is where it gets quite interesting. I'm not surprised about this, just because of the absolute task that someone who has to voice Black Panther has to take on, especially with the legacy that Chadwick left behind. But I turned it down straight away, Judge tells EW over Zoom about when he was first approached about the voice role. There's many Black Panthers, but I really didn't believe that anyone should ever do T'Challa again after Boseman. The actual talks proceeded, and basically I wound up doing it because my mother and my children said if I didn't do it, they would disown me. A bellow of laughter and his recognisably resonant timbre erupts at that thought. I love that. I love how dramatic that is because he's such a beast of a man, you know what I mean? But to be quite honest, I was fearful of being compared to what Chadwick had so wonderfully done, he continues. The only way I could really wrap my head around it was not to even attempt a voice match to let my performance stand on its own. I put all that into it and hopefully people like it. So we get a little image here. This is just, I mean, it's gorgeous, right? Like, this is beautiful. Can I get, yeah, I can, cool. Let me just get rid of all this stuff. Hold on 1 minute. There you go. Like, look at the detail in this. I mean, I remember when the concept art for Black Panther's costume got leaked, and a lot of people didn't like it, but this is just beautiful. Like, let's be honest, guys, you know? So I'm glad to see it. I want to double down on the idea that this is his own iteration of the Black Panther mythos, says Evan Narcisse? Oh god, that's going to be wrong. Anyway, well, I mean, no disrespect. You know what I mean? The writer behind Marvel Comics' Rise of the Black Panther, who also came aboard War for Wakanda as a narrative consultant. Even if you know the comics and can quote the movie by heart, there are still going to be some surprises. Hannah Leod. Oh my, I'm sorry. It's people have got very strange last names. I know Hannah. She was on Revealing Too Much's stream. The DLC's narrative lead, who works closely with Narcisse to craft this new story, believes the game's version of T'Challa is already distinct given his place within the context of Marvel's Avengers. A-Day, which was meant to celebrate the opening of the hero's West Coast headquarters, kick-started the game's main story, when an attack resulted in the death of Captain America and the rise of Inhumans, including Kamala Khan. The DLC largely picks up 5 years after this event to see the ripple effects in Wakanda. T'Challa's kingdom was in negotiations with Steve Rogers to ally with the Avengers, which, by the way, just to completely cut off, that's 100% true in the lore. If you guys read the intelligence files that you collect when you play the game, you'll see that Captain America especially has a lot of ties to Wakanda in the way that his shield, he talks with Shuri a lot about how to design his shield. She makes his shields very often. Which I know it's made out of vibranium, so that makes sense, right? But I mean, like, in this specific case, they even go over designs and stuff like that, because the star being massive is supposed to symbolize that the Avengers, its protection spreads across the world and not just America. But with Cap's death, oh, whoops, I read that one. Wait, no, I haven't. Wait, Yes, there you go. But with Cap's death brought a change of heart for the most technologically advanced nation on Earth. I can't read. They closed off their borders to the rest of the world once again. In the DLC, however, T'Challa has no choice but to enter the fray when the corrupt corporation AIM, headed by Dr. Tarleton, aka MODOK, hires Claw to procure vibranium. Now, this is interesting because it's like headed by Dr. Tarleton, but obviously in this story we know that Monica is the is the main being now, which is interesting. So I don't know. This is probably just like an awkward thing, like just a bit of a mistake. There is another one that I will address as well that I have like proof that isn't the case. But anyway, Claw has a personal vendetta against Wakanda that I don't want to spoil. It's different than the comics, teases Hannah. We'll say he has this sonic technology he developed that is used specifically to make vibranium tech vulnerable. But he also has this issue where it causes corruption in vibranium. That corrupt vibranium is starting to sprout all over the earth, which is why the Avengers get involved. And you can see that the man himself there next to King T'Challa. You can't really sort of see the resemblance, in my opinion, so it is very weird that we only just shown the face now, but it is still quite interesting regardless. Judge's iteration of Black Panther is in a different place than we typically see in the character. He's older, a little bit more wizened. Hannah says, we're not coming into T'Challa's story at the beginning. He hasn't just lost his father, he hasn't just become king, he's been in this role for a while. Narcisse describes him in relation to Boseman's version. Chadwick's performance was somebody who had more questions about how to perform the role of Black Panther and King. This version doesn't have those questions, he says. He already thinks he has all the answers. I think one of the cool things in this expansion is there's tensions between him and Shuri, his tech-savvy sister, like we haven't seen before, about how best to move Wakanda forward. Now, this is quite an interesting one, because as we saw in that little trailer, not a little trailer, sorry, but the cinematic trailer, they seem to be quite on good terms, so I do wonder how obvious the tension will be, if you know what I mean. War for Wakanda adds a new single-player campaign that runs more than 25 hours. So let me just address this real quick. This will not be 25 hours long. I think that's incredibly important. I can show you guys a source for that in the description down below by Kino, who is works with Nixes, who does a lot of narrative work for Marvel's Avengers. Basically saying that is included in the entire package. So it's War for Wakanda, the 2 operations in the main campaign when you first play the game that make up 25 hours. There'll be new adversaries, including 2 central villains, what Hannah calls a robust cast of Wakandans, like Dora Milaje and Sorceress Zawavari, locations like Shuri's laboratory and the Wakandan War Room, and new missions for the Drop Zone and Threat Sector. The rise of the Black Panther was a big influence on this story. If you hadn't already guessed from Narcisse's involvement, dancing around spoilers, McLeod? Yeah, sorry Hannah, mentions how these comics tell so much about T'Challa's history and his family. So obviously there's another image right there. So I won't, that's essentially as much as, I'll read through today, I believe. Like, obviously this is a massive article, but I really want you guys to read as much as you can yourselves. Christopher Judge will be on the live stream tomorrow, the dev stream, which is going to be crazy, just seeing Christopher Judge chilling out on a dev stream on the Crystal Dynamics channel. But I'm sure a lot of people are going to give him love for that, so that will be exciting to see. So let me know what you think down below. Did you know for sure, like, was your brain ever swayed about the idea that Christopher Judge might be voicing Black Panther? Are you excited? Let me know down below, and I will see you guys later. Peace. Right, how do I...
Hannah McLeod.
Hannah McLeod. Right, okay, now let's try Evan Narcisse. Evan Narcisse.
Evan Narcisse.
I was right! Yeah!